Hey y'all, it's me, Brianka J. And I want to thank you for coming to my little corner of the internet. And of course, this is one of my favorite months because it is Black History Month. So I do try to be a little more thoughtful about Arrival. Because we gotta go over all these black authors. Sorry guys, lips are dry. This is my third time recording this video. I recorded it twice last night. Twice. Maybe it didn't look good. Or shall I say, I didn't look good. And so we had to go back to the drawing board and hit him up one more time. It's a fly. Okay, hit him up one more time. Anyway, I was trying to talk to you guys desperately about Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower. And what I wanted to talk about really was that I read the book, and this was an author that I truly had been avoiding in my literary journey because I just didn't know if I had the emotional or mental capacity to look at a dystopian future for Black people or an apocalyptic future for Black people. Like, I just wasn't in a place. I wasn't in a place. And I first heard about her and was introduced to her works in grad school. She was like an option, right? Like, you typically are faced with like several books, and then you say, well, I'm gonna read these. And when I would see Octavia Butler, y'all, I would be like, I'm not reading that. I'm not. What? Hold a second, y'all. I'm sorry. I had to get it. Okay. So anyway, I'd be like, I'm not reading that. I'm not interested in that. I don't want to put my mental health in that arena. Like, I was already reading so much historical fiction written by Black people. A lot of times when you read these books, whether it's Ralph Ellison or Baldwin, he's actually an essayist. What is that? Like, I can't remember the titles, but a lot of the like major literary fiction of our past is really steeped in a lot of truth, right? They have really ensured that they told their stories, but because they couldn't get publishing, a lot of times, they would say, okay, well, it's fiction, right? Because white publishers simply didn't want to produce a work that was steeped in racism, that showed white people as evil, that told the line of this really heavy political moment. So they could only get publishing if they were to say, well, I am making this up. This is all fictional. None of this is true. None of this happened to me. I can't write an autobiography. Okay, so that was always heavy for me, to the point that I stopped reading so many freaking flies. Anyway, so I stopped like watching like slave narratives on television. I stopped going to those types of movies. Like, I didn't go to The Color Purple. Like, I didn't want to see that. It kept trying to tell me it was a celebration of life, and I was like, I've seen it. What's the celebration exactly? Hold on a second. Okay, so I simply just I don't enjoy that type of stuff. I think it's interesting and important for historical fact, like history to continue and for it to have an understanding. But I do know that it takes an emotional and mental toll on me, and probably you too as readers. And so I'm very careful about what I digest and what I take in. And Octavia Butler, because it was set mostly in the future, I knew like, hey, I'm already dealing with the past in a heavy way, and my present is so much different, and I can at least appreciate the progress. I don't know if I can seat myself in a future world mentally that says all progress is lost. I just wasn't ready. Anyway, I came across this word, Parable of the Sower, when I was in the airport. Y'all, I ain't had no charger, I ain't had nothing. So I was like, okay, well, I gotta do something in here. So I went in, and I didn't see anything that I wanted to read But I did see Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower, and I was like, well, Anyway, so I don't know, my had to run out of storage. But yeah, got the book, read the book in about 4 different plane rides, finished it. I want to talk to you guys about it. I want to have a conversation because I can't lie to you. I won't lie to you. If you haven't read Octavia Butler, she's everything that you've probably heard about Octavia Butler. She's deep, she's dark, and she's heavy. Period. I gripped throughout? Yes, I went through every page. I was like, I was eating up this novel because I was like, what is going on? Like, I think she did an incredible job. I'm going to start with everything I liked. She did an incredible job creating a scene, like setting a scene. She did a great job of exploring how they got there, why they got there, what it was like. Like, I really felt like, oh, we in the trenches for real. This is deep. This is tough. I was gripped by the play, like the action, right? Almost like every page was something was happening, and I was like, oh my God, like it was intense. It was an intense read. You do not miss a moment of like gripping in this interrogating world. Like, you're in it with them, right? You really want to see them win. You really want to see progress for them. You really want to see them overcome. You want to end it in a place of hope. And that's what I didn't like. I went through this whole novel and I just wasn't hopeful. And I got so disappointed, especially when I got to like the last 100 pages. I was like, okay, Miss Butler, like, why is it that we haven't had like a lighthearted moment? Why is it that we haven't had like a fun moment? Like, I understand that the world is falling apart, but hell, right now it's falling apart. COVID was falling apart, and we still found ways as human beings to really find a lighthearted nature about it, especially Black people. We are fun-loving people. So it was very disconcerting to me that these people did not find a way to find happiness even in bleak moments. Like, I'm not saying I should go around being delusional. That's not the case, but I just thought that it was interesting to me that they didn't find joy in life at times. It was just very, very serious all the time. Even in the instance where, like, let's say Lauren takes like Ben Cole as a lover, she doesn't do it in a way of like, this man, like, I like him. Like, they don't have a flirty moment. They don't have a loving moment. They don't even have, it doesn't even seem like the relationship is loving. It seems like it's a relationship of convenience and survival, right? Like, I didn't see them as two people who fell in love as much as two people that cross paths and, well, you ain't linked with nobody, I ain't linked with nobody, let's do what he do. Like, I wasn't embraced by their story. In fact, I wasn't embraced by Lauren, the protagonist's story, at all. Like, I didn't resonate with her as a character. And I kept wondering, like, what is it? Why am I struggling with this character? And it wasn't until closer to the end of the book where I was like, oh, it's because she hasn't grown. Like, I feel like Lauren's story just kind of lays flat, right? She doesn't have an arc. In fact, none of the characters really do. I think the only character I can see have like a bit of an arc with Keith, and his arc was cut very short. But none of the characters have like a growth and then, change and a transformation type of moment. She's just like, she starts off very heavy. She ends it very heavy. There's not much to talk about in between. And that was disappointing because you want to see a character really transition or transform. You want something in the book to change. And I feel like from beginning to end, there was, as much as she says everything changes, God has changed, and she speaks about this necessity of change and being able to change when things change with you, I didn't see the character change. And I also didn't see like their world change. I didn't see progress or hope be developed in this book, and I think that is what disappointed me most about the work, but also what I expected from the author. So I wish that a book about change could have offered me a little bit more in terms of transformation for the characters, for their plot, for their living situation. Now, I did see an excerpt of the next the next novel, I wonder if the flowers are producing, like, but I don't know. But I did see a novel of the next excerpt, and it made me wonder, like, okay, she has a child in the next book, and like things are happening. I do want to read it. I won't lie to you. I do plan to read Parable of the Talents because I want to see where this goes, but not because I'm super steeped in like the character. I'm not resonating with the characters. Like, I didn't believe in Lauren's hyper empathy. I wasn't pulled in the way I can be pulled into a lot of other novels and feel with the characters and resonate with their stories. It didn't do that for me with this particular book, and I do want to read the next part of the series, but I will go in to say, like, yeah, she was everything I expected from her as a dystopian author written by a Black woman. I just don't think that she's the author for me. Like, dystopian literature is very heavy, very dark, very deep. Yes, but I think we could have incorporated a little bit more lighthearted moments in it. I do. And also, I feel like she has so much to say that she couldn't really flesh out her ideas as much as I would have liked. So, for instance, it mentions like race, and she talks about how her group and band is like multifaceted in race, but she doesn't talk about how she doesn't show us how that choice affects them over time, right? Being a band of 13 different race people in a apocalyptic world that's still steeped in race relations. I felt like she could have dug into that theme a little bit more and showed me a little bit more what that looks like for these people in this particular realm. I didn't see that. I also didn't really see the hyper empathy. Like, she kept trying to show me and tell me, but it just wasn't resonating. I don't know if she should have fleshed it out a little more, talked about it a little more, made Lauren just a little more like likable, believable. I don't know. But we have a 14-year-old girl going on 18, and this girl don't make no mistakes. Like, this girl is the smartest freaking teenager I've ever met. She's smarter than me. Is this because she is living in a world where mistakes aren't really allowed of her? She doesn't have the safety to do so? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I am sure that it was a bit weird for me to read the book. Again, I'm going to read Parable of the Talents. I don't know if I'll go into any more Octavia Butler books after that, but I do want to hear what you guys' opinion is of the book, and I do have more to talk about the book. Like, we will do the reading guide. We will talk about like Octavia Butler's opinion on the work and how she developed it and what she likes, what she doesn't like, and all of that things. We will talk more in depth in an analysis of the work, but I wanted to just come and give my first impressions and my final impressions, and then we're going to go deep diving into the analysis next. Do want to thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for commenting, liking, subscribing. Make sure you tell me what's your favorite Octavia Butler book in the comments, or tell me why you really love her as an author or you really don't like her as an author. Let me know. Let's discuss it. I do want to say, like, I've gotten so many comments about like my position on Richard Wright. Let me tell y'all something. You don't have to like every particular author just because they're Black. You are allowed to like what you like, and just because the author is Black and wrote at a time and got famous doesn't mean they're good. Doesn't mean that they were of the cause, of the purpose, and aligned with the goals that you have today. So feel free to just say, I don't like it. What they gonna do? It's a book. Everybody don't have to like your work. Get over it. Anyway, have a great day.